Imagine a love so warm, so pure, it feels like home until it turns into a shadow that haunts your every step. I was her daughter, her pride, her joy, until the day I told her I was pregnant. What happened next broke my heart, tore my world apart, and revealed a secret so dark, it changed everything. This is my story, a tale of love, betrayal, and the strength to rise again. Stay with me, because you won't believe what my mother-in-law did. In the heart of Lagos, Nigeria, where skyscrapers kissed the clouds and markets hummed with life, I, Amora, found my place. The city was a symphony of colors: red dust roads, emerald palm trees, and the golden glow of street lamps at dusk. Motorcycles weaved through traffic, their horns blending with the laughter of children and the rhythmic beats of Afrobeat from roadside stalls. Lagos was alive, and so was I, a young woman of 24, newly married to Chike, the love of my life. Our home was in Victoria Island, a glittering enclave of wealth where mansions stood like proud elders, their gates adorned with intricate ironwork. Chike's family was one of Lagos' elite, their wealth built on real estate and oil. But it was his mother, Mama Ngozi, who was the heart of their legacy. She was a woman of grace, her wrapper tied elegantly around her waist, her smile as warm as the sun. When Chike introduced me, a girl from a modest family in Ibadan, Mama Ngozi embraced me like her own daughter. "Oh, Amora," she said, her voice rich like honey, "you are the daughter I prayed for." Her hands, adorned with gold bangles, cupped my face, and I felt a love I'd never known. She taught me the ways of her household, how to season jollof rice with just the right spices, how to greet elders with respect, and how to carry myself as a woman of status. Every Sunday, we attended church together, our Jeel head wraps bright as peacock feathers, and she'd whisper, "You are my pride, Amora." Our life was a dream. Chike, with his kind eyes and quick laugh, worked in his father's company, while I ran a small boutique selling Ankara fabrics. Mama Ngozi visited often, bringing baskets of mangoes and stories of her youth. She spoke of ancestors who guided her, of spirits that whispered wisdom in the night. "Listen to the wind, Amora," she'd say. "It carries the voices of those who came before." I nodded, enchanted by her tales, unaware of the storm brewing beneath her love. One evening, as the sun painted the sky orange, I felt a flutter in my belly. My heart raced. I was pregnant. I told Chike first, and he lifted me in his arms, spinning me until we laughed like children. "We'll tell Mama tomorrow," he said, his eyes shining. I went to bed dreaming of a child with Chike's smile, unaware that this joy would awaken a darkness I could not foresee. The next morning, I woke to the scent of akara frying in the kitchen. Chike was already up, humming as he prepared breakfast. "Today's the day, Amora," he said, kissing my forehead. My heart fluttered with excitement and a touch of nerves. Telling Mama Ngozi about the baby felt like offering a precious gift to the woman who'd welcomed me so fully. We drove to Mama Ngozi's mansion in Ikoyi, its white walls gleaming under the sun. The garden was a paradise of hibiscus and bougainvillea, their petals swaying in the breeze. Mama Ngozi greeted us at the door, her wrapper a cascade of blue and gold. "My children," she exclaimed, pulling us into her embrace. We sat in her parlor, surrounded by mahogany furniture and portraits of ancestors whose eyes seemed to watch us. "Mama," I began, my voice trembling with joy, "I'm pregnant." The words hung in the air like a melody. Chike squeezed my hand, his smile wide. I waited for Mama Ngozi's face to light up, for her to clap her hands and call me her blessed daughter. But her smile faltered, just for a moment, like a candle flickering in the wind. Then she recovered, her lips curling into a tight smile. "A child," she said softly. "That is wonderful." Her words were kind, but her eyes were distant, as if she saw something I could not. She rose, excusing herself to fetch wine for a toast. As she left, I whispered to Chike, "Did you see that?" She seemed strange. He laughed, brushing it off. "Mama's just surprised, Amora. She'll be dancing soon." But doubt crept into my heart, a tiny seed that would soon grow. That night, I dreamed of a river, its waters dark and swirling. A voice, old as time, whispered, "Beware the heart that hides its truth." I woke with a start, my heart pounding. The ancestors were speaking, but what did they mean? I pushed the dream aside, telling myself it was just nerves. Mama Ngozi loved me. She'd come around. Over the next weeks, she did. She brought me herbs for morning sickness, knitted tiny clothes for the baby, and prayed over me in her deep, melodic voice. "This child will be a blessing," she said, her hands on my belly. I believed her, letting her warmth wash away my doubts. But sometimes, when she thought I wasn't looking, I caught her staring at me, her eyes sharp as a hawk's. As my belly grew, so did my joy and my unease. Lagos buzzed around me, its markets alive with the chatter of traders and the scent of roasted plantain. I loved strolling through Balogun Market, my boutique's shelves stocked with fabrics from its stalls. But lately, I felt eyes on me, whispers trailing in my wake. "That's Chike's wife," I'd hear. "The one Mama Ngozi chose." Their tones held something I couldn't place, pity, perhaps, or fear. One afternoon, I met my friend Nkechi at the market. Her stall overflowed with beads and cowrie shells, her laughter as bright as her wares. "Amora, you glow," she said, hugging me. But as we sipped Zobo drink, her face grew serious. "Be careful, my friend," she whispered. "Mama Ngozi, she's not what she seems." I frowned, confused. "What do you mean?" "She loves me." Nkechi hesitated, then said, "There are stories about her family, about sacrifices." My blood ran cold, but I laughed it off. "Gossip, Nkechi. Just gossip." Yet her words lingered. That evening, I asked Chike about his mother's past. He shrugged, slicing yam for dinner. "Mama's always been strong-willed. She built this family with her bare hands. Ignore the rumors, Amora." But his eyes flickered, just for a moment, and I wondered what he wasn't saying. The next day, Mama Ngozi invited me to her home for a naming ceremony she was hosting. The mansion was a whirlwind of music and color, with drummers pounding rhythms and guests in vibrant Aso oak. Mama Ngozi moved like a queen, her laughter commanding the room. But as we sat to eat, she leaned close, her voice low. "Amora, you must protect this child. Not everyone wishes it well." Her words were a warning, but her eyes held a glint I couldn't read. Was she protecting me or threatening me? That night, I dreamed again. The river was back, its waters now red as blood. The ancestral voice whispered, "The truth lies in the past." I woke trembling, resolved to uncover what Mama Ngozi was hiding. The ancestors were guiding me, and I could no longer ignore them. Determined to understand Mama Ngozi's secrets, I sought answers beyond the city's noise. I visited my grandmother, Aya Agba, in Ibadan, a 2-hour drive from Lagos. Her small house was nestled among baobab trees, its walls adorned with cowrie shells and charms. Aya Agba was a keeper of stories, her eyes sharp despite her age. "Amora," she said, her voice like dry leaves, "the ancestors are restless. What troubles you?" I told her everything: Mama Ngozi's love, her strange reaction to my pregnancy, the whispers, the dreams. Aya Agba listened, her fingers tracing a string of beads. "The river in your dreams," she said, "is a sign. It speaks of hidden truths, of blood ties and betrayals. You must seek the oracle." She gave me a pouch of herbs and a prayer to honor the ancestors. "Be brave, child. The truth will test you." Back in Lagos, I went to a diviner in Yaba, a man named Baba Tunde, known for his connection to the spirits. His shrine was a small room filled with candles and carvings of Orunmila, the god of wisdom. I offered kola nuts and poured out my fears. Baba Tunde cast his divining chain, his eyes narrowing as the shells fell. "There is a shadow over your child," he said. "A woman close to you carries a grudge, a wound from long ago. She seeks to control what is not hers." My heart sank. Was it Mama Ngozi? Baba Tunde gave me a charm, a small amulet to wear for protection. Trust the ancestors, Amora. They will guide you to the truth. As I left, the weight of his words pressed on me. I wanted to confront Mama Ngozi, but fear held me back. What if I was wrong? What if I tore apart the family I loved? That night, Mama Ngozi called me to her home. Amora, you've been distant, she said, her voice soft but probing. Is something wrong? I forced a smile, my hand clutching the amulet. Just tired, Mama. But her eyes lingered on me, as if she could see through my lie. The air felt heavy, like a storm about to break. The amulet became my anchor, a reminder of the ancestors' protection. But the whispers grew louder, and Mama Ngozi's behavior grew stranger. She insisted on overseeing every detail of my pregnancy. Choosing my doctor, preparing my meals, even praying over my belly with words I didn't understand. For the baby's safety, she'd say, but her tone felt like a command, not care. One day, while visiting her mansion, I wandered into her study, a room I'd never entered. The door was ajar, and curiosity pulled me in. The room was lined with books and artifacts, masks, beads, and a wooden chest carved with symbols. My heart raced as I opened the chest, revealing old letters and photographs. One photo showed a young Mama Ngozi with a man I didn't recognize, their faces grim. A letter, yellowed with age, spoke of a promise a child offered to secure wealth. My breath caught. Was this about my baby? Before I could read more, I heard footsteps. I hid the letter in my dress and slipped out, my pulse pounding. That night, I showed the letter to Chaik. His face paled as he read it. This can't be true, he stammered. Mama would never, but doubt clouded his eyes. He promised to talk to his father, Papa Uche, who might know more. Papa Uche was a quiet man, overshadowed by his wife's presence. When we met him at his office, he looked weary, his eyes heavy with secrets. There was a time, he said slowly, when our family faced ruin. Ngozi made a pact, a spiritual one. She never spoke of it, but it changed her. He refused to say more, warning us to be careful. Some truths are dangerous, Amora. The dreams grew darker. The river now swallowed me, its currents pulling me toward a faceless figure. The ancestral voice roared, "Seek the one who knows." I knew I had to confront Mama Ngozi, but fear gnawed at me. What if she was dangerous? What if she wanted my child for some ancient pact? I could no longer ignore the truth. The letter, the dreams, Papa Uche's words, they all pointed to Mama Ngozi. I needed answers, even if they broke me. One evening, I went to her mansion alone, the amulet warm against my chest. The air was thick with the scent of rain, and thunder rumbled in the distance. Mama Ngozi was in her garden, tending to her hibiscus. "Amora," she said, her voice calm, "you look troubled." I took a deep breath, my hands trembling. "Mama, I found a letter. About a pact. About a child." Her face hardened, her eyes narrowing. For a moment, she was not the warm mother I knew, but a stranger, fierce and unyielding. "You shouldn't meddle in things you don't understand," she said, her voice cold. "That pact saved our family. It brought us wealth, power. But it demands a price." My heart stopped. "My baby," I whispered. She stepped closer, her gaze piercing. "The ancestors chose you, Amora. Your child is special. It will fulfill the pact." I stumbled back, horror washing over me. "You can't have my child," I cried. She reached for me, but I ran, the rain now falling in sheets. As I drove home, tears blurred my vision. Mama Ngozi, the woman who'd loved me, wanted to sacrifice my baby for her family's legacy. I felt betrayed, shattered, but the ancestor's voice echoed in my mind, "You are stronger than you know." I told Chaik everything. He was devastated, torn between his love for me and his loyalty to his mother. "We'll protect our child," he vowed, his voice fierce. We went back to Baba Tunde, seeking the ancestors' guidance. The diviner's shrine felt like a sanctuary, its candles flickering like stars. The pact is old, Baba Tunde said, his voice grave. It binds the family to a spirit of greed. But you, Amora, carry the strength of your ancestors. You can break it. He performed a ritual, chanting and offering kola nuts to the spirits. As the smoke rose, I felt a warmth in my chest, as if the ancestors were with me. Baba Tunde gave us a plan. We had to confront Maman Gozi at the family shrine, where the pact was made, and offer a sacrifice of truth to appease the spirits. It will be dangerous, he warned. The spirit will resist. We prepared in secret, gathering herbs and charms. Chaik spoke to Papa Uche, who revealed the shrine's location, a hidden grove behind the mansion. I was too weak to stop her, Papa Uche confessed. But you, Amora, you are brave. His words gave me strength, but fear lingered. What if we failed? What if the spirit took my child? The dreams intensified. The river was now a battlefield, with ancestors standing beside me, their faces fierce. You are our daughter, they said. Fight. I clung to their words, knowing the battle was near. The night of the confrontation arrived, the air heavy with the promise of rain. Chaik and I drove to Maman Gozi's mansion, our hearts pounding. The grove was hidden behind the garden, a circle of ancient trees with roots like twisted fingers. The family shrine stood at its center, a stone altar covered in offerings, kola nuts, palm wine, and feathers. The air felt alive, charged with unseen eyes. Maman Gozi was waiting, her wrapper dark as midnight. You cannot stop this, Amora, she said, her voice a low growl. The pact is eternal. Chaik stepped forward, his voice steady. Mother, this ends tonight. We won't let you take our child. Her eyes flashed with anger, but also pain, as if she were trapped by her own choices. I lit the herbs Baba Tunde had given me, their smoke rising like a prayer. Ancestors, hear us, I chanted, my voice trembling but strong. We offer truth to break the pact. The wind howled, and the trees seemed to lean closer. Maman Gozi laughed, a sound that chilled my bones. You think you can defy the spirit, she said. It hungers. Suddenly, the air grew cold, and a shadow rose from the altar, a formless mass of darkness, its voice a hiss. The child is mine, it said. I clutched my amulet, the ancestors' strength flowing through me. No, I said, stepping forward. This child is ours, blessed by our ancestors. You have no power here. The spirit's presence was suffocating, its darkness wrapping around us like a shroud. But I felt the ancestors with me, their voices a chorus of strength. Speak the truth, Amora, they urged. I faced Maman Gozi, my voice steady. You made a pact for wealth, but it cost you your heart. You don't have to serve this spirit. Let it go. Maman Gozi's face crumpled, tears streaming down her cheeks. I had no choice, she whispered. Our family was dying. The spirit promised prosperity, but it demanded a child every generation. Her words broke my heart. She wasn't evil, just trapped by a desperate choice. Chaik took her hand. Mother, we can end this. Together. She nodded, her resolve hardening. We joined hands around the altar, chanting Baba Tunde's prayer. The spirit roared, its form twisting, but the ancestors' light grew stronger, a golden glow pushing back the darkness. You are free, I said to Maman Gozi. The pact is broken. With a final scream, the spirit dissolved, the air clearing as rain began to fall. Maman Gozi collapsed, sobbing. Forgive me, Amora, she said. I held her, my own tears falling. The ancestors had won, but the cost was heavy, a family scarred by secrets. The days that followed were quiet, the storm within our family calmed but not forgotten. Maman Gozi moved to a smaller house, seeking peace away from the mansion's memories. She spent hours with me, sharing stories of her youth, her fears, her hopes. I loved you, Amora, she said. But the pact blinded me. I forgave her, knowing love could heal even the deepest wounds. Chaik and I prepared for our child, decorating a nursery with bright Ankara curtains and wooden carvings. Lagos embraced us, its markets and streets a reminder of life's resilience. Nkechi visited, her laughter lifting my spirits. "You're stronger than I thought," she said, and I smiled, feeling the ancestors' pride. Aya Agba came to Lagos, her presence a blessing. She prayed over my belly, her hands steady. "This child will carry your strength," she said, "and the wisdom of those who came before." Her words were a balm, a promise of a brighter future. The dreams stopped, replaced by visions of a child running through a field, laughing under a clear sky. The ancestors were at peace, their guidance complete. I knew our family would never be the same, but we were stronger for it, bound by truth and love. 9 months passed, and the day came. In a Lagos hospital, surrounded by the hum of machines and the love of Chaik, I gave birth to our daughter, Ife. Her cry was a song, her tiny hands reaching for me. Chaik wept, kissing my forehead. "She's perfect," he said. I held her close, feeling the ancestors' joy, their voices a gentle hum in my heart. Mama Ngozi came to see her, her face soft with wonder. "Ife," she whispered, touching her granddaughter's cheek. "A name of love." She promised to be the grandmother Ife deserved, free from the shadows of the past. I believed her, seeing the light in her eyes. Lagos celebrated with us. Nkechi threw a naming ceremony, the market alive with music and dance. Aya Agba led the prayers, her voice strong. "Ife will walk in truth," she said, guided by her ancestors. The guests cheered, their jewel head wraps a rainbow of hope. As I watched Ife grow, I told her stories of the ancestors, of the river that guided me, of the strength that saved us. I wanted her to know her roots, to carry the wisdom of our people. Lagos, with its chaos and beauty, was her home, a city that taught us to rise above pain. The moral of our tale is simple yet profound. Love can falter, but truth and courage can mend it. Listen to the ancestors, for they see what we cannot. And when darkness threatens, stand firm, for you are never alone. Ife is our hope, a reminder that even the deepest wounds can birth a brighter dawn. The story teaches that love can be tested by secrets and fear, but truth and courage, guided by ancestral wisdom, can heal even the deepest rifts. It reminds us to listen to the voices of those who came before, to stand firm in the face of darkness, and to believe in the power of forgiveness and hope.